Hello and welcome to Domination Inc. If you're wondering why you're even subscribed to this channel in the first place and who the hell I am, it's because I used to have anime music videos up on this channel. I have recently moved channels. My main channel will be linked down below. I also have a Let's Play channel. Yes, I am now officially more gamer-oriented than I am anime-oriented. However, I am more than willing to talk about anime. Just to warn you guys, I know the footage is going to be a little bad and delayed. Unfortunately, I don't really have many options for cameras at the moment. I'm working on it, but you know, time is money, and if I don't have the time to save the money, I just don't have a camera. Nonetheless, I used to make anime music videos on this channel, Domination Inc. And, unfortunately, I just don't have the time to do that anymore. I have better technology to do that now, I just don't have the time. You see what I'm saying? So, what am I going to do instead here? Well, I have 3 YouTube channels up now. I have one for reviews, one for actually playing video games, and this one. Now, this channel is more like my personal channel. I've been using it as a personal channel for years now. I've kind of jumped ship a little bit, but I don't want this to go to waste. So while I like video games, as you probably well know, I also like anime. And a deep part of me likes comic books. Oh yes. So what I was thinking was, why not use this as kind of a personal vlog? To talk about movies and anime and TV shows that I'm watching. Outside of the normal, this is the game I'm playing this month. So what I wanted to talk to you guys about today is the Justice League movie. It just recently came out. Kind of hit with a resounding thud. What do I think about the Justice League movie? Well, there's some pros and cons to the whole thing. Since it wasn't very popular, I'm going to start with the things that I liked, personally. This isn't a full-on review, mind you. I like to keep my reviews more professional, if you will. About as professional as I can possibly be, anyway. And this is going to be more of a personal bias towards me. When it comes to Justice League, now I'm not the biggest DC comic fan, but there are characters that I certainly enjoy. So we're going to talk about the Justice League. Things that I like. 1, Wonder Woman had a really decent character arc. I actually enjoyed her character arc. As some of you may know, Wonder Woman's been kind of stealing the show in the entire cinematic universe for DC Comics. And unfortunately, she doesn't upshadow anybody here, but she certainly is one of the main focuses of the movie. By the way, just to warn you guys, and I will post down below as well, there will be spoilers in this. So I'm going to elaborate on my personal experience, and I can't do that without talking about the end of the movie. So if you don't want to see spoilers, thank you for joining me, but I highly recommend you come and maybe take a look after the movie if you don't want it to be spoiled. If you couldn't care less about spoilers, or have already seen the movie and just were wondering what I thought about it, then by all means, stay. So here we go. Superman's back. Surprise, surprise, I know. But when he returned, he kind of had his Superman persona. What most people would look at and say, yes, that feels like Superman. He's no longer as dark and brooding and depressing as he was in Batman v Superman, and maybe not even as depressing as he was in Man of Steel. Not that he was depressing, but he did snap somebody's neck. Anyway, I'm happy about that. I didn't mind the action scenes. I thought most of them were forgettable, to be honest, but, they were alright. What I liked about the other three, Aquaman, Flash, and Cyborg, was I did enjoy their personalities. What little I saw of them, I enjoyed their personalities. They're doing a completely different take with Aquaman. It's not a take that's too far off from ones that we've seen before, but Aquaman certainly does have a sense of more nobility, typically, when you see him in the comic books. So, I don't mind the change, personally. I wouldn't mind seeing a more traditional Aquaman. Again, I have read some of the Aquaman comic books, and I don't mind Aquaman tradition. The more noble, basically he's more Rigel than a lot of interpretations. He's nothing like the Super Friends that so many people mock. But they went with more hardcore 90s Aquaman. Instead of giving him a mullet, though, they give him a much better hairstyle. Anyway, The Flash was pretty decent as well. We didn't really get to see much of him to see anything resounding. And we didn't really get to see hardly enough of Cyborg at all to really, say do or die on that one. I'm more familiar with Cyborg from the Teen Titans rather than his own separate series. So, yeah. But that kind of leads with the bad. I didn't see enough of these characters. I didn't. It felt like more of a really small advertisement for their upcoming movies, assuming they're even going to still have upcoming movies, because this movie is not doing as well as it probably should. But, yeah. Unfortunately, I'm not convinced on the movies. I'm not. I'm curious, but I'm not sold by any means that they'll be any good. I'll probably still see them in theaters because I'm an absolute nerd like that. But that's beside the point. We didn't really see enough of these characters to really warrant any excitement over their movies at this point in time. The only three characters we really saw an entire lot of would be Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. We saw a decent amount here and there. Flash at least got to show off some of his powers. Cyborg showed off incredibly little, and Aquaman showed off some more personality than the rest of them. But it wasn't enough, I don't think. And that's a problem with having multiple characters as your heroes, is that you can't really focus a whole lot on all of them. It's hard. I personally think that they should have waited for a Justice League movie and established a universe first before going with this. It's great to see Justice League on the big screen. It really is. And that's one of the good points is that it's nice to see that. Also, another good point that I neglected to mention is it's kind of a relief that they didn't use Darkseid. Now, everyone is wanting Darkseid, don't get me wrong, but most non-comic book fans probably don't know who Darkseid is. It's possible. He showed up many times in the Superman animated series and in the Justice League animated series. And he's shown up on quite a few video games here and there too. But explaining the concept of the old gods versus the new gods to a general audience, trying to explain what a mother box is to a general audience is no easy feat. And I think they did an okay job with it. Again, nothing resounding by any means. But it was something there. However, Steppenwolf, I'm really not convinced to go read up any more on him. He didn't really thrill me as a villain. He seemed like you could build some character off of him, but they really didn't throughout the movie. He had cool powers, don't get me wrong, but I wasn't convinced. Not really. Other than that, the movie is just there. One of the, I wouldn't say bad, but one of the more pointless scenes is that Steppenwolf starts taking over the city in Russia, out in the middle of nowhere. And you see this family that's being hounded by parademons, which is fine. You know, there's somebody here besides Steppenwolf. You know, there's somebody to save at least, you know, and you know they're going to get rescued by the end. They keep focusing on this family, but out of nowhere, towards the end of the movie, this family starts running when the parademons are all distracted. And suddenly there's an entire town on the same end. And that was kind of weird. And then this family that you see 2 to 5 scenes with are rescued briefly by the Flash. And then a joke is made by Superman because he's carrying an entire building full of people. And that's it. They were the most pointless characters. And I understand, you're trying to build up that it's not just Steppenwolf. It's not just, you know, some worldwide. No, they're trying to bring in the human factor in this, where there's people that need to be saving. And they didn't do it well enough. I didn't see enough of this family to care about them, but I certainly saw them more than enough to know of their existence. The problem is that during any of these times, you didn't see any of the other people in the city. You just saw this family. And what did it amount to? A joke. That's it. I can't take this family being rescued very seriously when the movie doesn't take it very seriously. And that's problematic. I did like the outfits that the characters wore. I've always been a fan of Wonder Woman's outfit from the beginning. It's nice to see something other than spandex. It's a bit more practical for battle, which is nice. It kind of had to grow on me, but I didn't mind Batman's outfit in this either. Sorry, nose itches. This is uncut, by the way, in case you were wondering. But, I don't mind Superman's outfit by any means. I didn't mind the Flash's outfit. It was okay. Cyborg looked like trash up until the end of the movie, in which he kind of started to control the abilities that the Mother Box gave him, and which he kind of created his signature look, which is nice, finally, like at the end of the movie. Yeah. And then Aquaman's final costume was okay as well. There were 2 somewhat brief Easter eggs that I did enjoy, though. One was a Green Lantern showed up at one point in time. He was on the background of Steppenwolf. Sorry, he was absolutely forgettable after like the first few seconds. The background story for Steppenwolf, a Green Lantern from the Lantern Corps actually did show up. And I am certainly excited to see Green Lantern in this universe, because it would probably help a lot. But unless they took the Ryan Reynolds route, in which case, sorry. But I was excited to see that. And then Mera from the Aquaman stories showed up briefly, telling Aquaman that it's his destiny to be king because there's nobody else for the throne. Even though if you know the comic books, you know that's a load of crap. So, in fact, I'm pretty sure that's where Aquaman's movie is going to go. Dealing with brother issues. But it's nice to see Mera. Mera is incredibly powerful. And honestly, a pretty decent character. So I was kind of happy to see her, even if it was brief. But yeah, that's it. Is it a movie I can recommend to people? Well, yes and no. I don't recommend seeing it in theaters, and I certainly don't recommend paying $20 for the DVD or $25 for the Blu-ray, for crap's sake, or even more than that. But I think you should check it out. It's nice, as a comic book fan, to see the Justice League up on the big screens. Now I know I'm wearing a Deadpool shirt. Marvel recently acquired Deadpool movie rights again. Or at least they are acquiring by the time making this video, so my sinuses are naturally blocked up, because every time I try and do a video, my sinuses are blocked up. Why wouldn't they be? Anyway, I can't recommend seeing it in theaters. I can't recommend rushing out to buy the DVD either. But, again, seeing the Justice League, no matter how piss poor the movie may be, is an accomplishment for me. It's the same type of pride that I felt when I first saw the Avengers on the big screen. It was incredible, really. But the Avengers had more of an on-screen presence. Even if you didn't have the characters fully established within the Avengers movie itself. Even if it wasn't self-contained completely. There was just characters for the sake of having characters. These characters were at least developed in previous movies, so if you watched the series, you knew what you were getting into. Here, you really don't. You can't go find out more about Aquaman because there's not a movie at the moment. You can go find out about the Flash for the TV series on CW, but it's not the same Flash. I'm not even sure if it's the same take on the character. I haven't watched it yet. I will be. I'm backlogged when it comes to TV. You can't see any more about Cyborg. I mean, sure, you can go watch Batman v Superman, but that's the Batman versus Superman and Wonder Woman steals the show. They only make cameos. If you want to see more about Batman, or Superman, or Wonder Woman, there are plenty of movies you can go see to figure out at least a little bit about some of these characters. The problem is that the Justice League movie focuses on these three already. You don't really need to go see another movie to get any more details, unless you really like the character, which I found Wonder Woman once again to probably be the best of the characters. Batman was less than impressive, and the funny man. That was weird to say. But I didn't mind his take. I didn't think it was bad. I didn't think it was particularly great. I know Batman. It felt more like the Batman animated series, which isn't a bad thing if they do it right. Did they do it right? They did okay. Wasn't the best job ever. Wasn't the worst. At least not the way I feel, anyway. Yeah, that's the interesting part about reviewing movies. There's so many intricacies that I'm not aware of, honestly. And that's where I'd have a problem doing full-on reviews. That's why I prefer to just kind of talk about it. As a regular human being who really, unless the actor is an absolute atrocious, cannot tell what's good acting and what's bad, or at least what the internet considers bad, I'm just a guy who likes to watch movies. And this movie, unless you are an absolute Justice League diehard, I recommend waiting on this one. I do recommend seeing it. I don't think it's a bad movie. But I don't think it's particularly great either. That's all there is to it. I'm going to try and do one of these videos. Well, I'm going to try and do 2 of these videos every week. The next video that I discuss will be Star Wars: The Last Jedi. Because I just went and saw it. And as a favor to everyone, because there will be spoilers in that movie too, or for that movie, sorry, uncut, I'm pushing it back to the later end of the week. Letting everyone get a chance to see it. Justice League's been out for a while now. Seems funner to spoil that one. Also, if you don't like my camera, I will probably be playing one of the Star Wars games back in the days of the SNES, because I've acquired all 3 of them. So instead of me sitting here talking about it, you might actually see some video game gameplay, whatever. So there's that to look forward to. At least you don't have to see my horrible wobbly camera. I will also be talking about anime. Relatively soon on my main channel, I'll actually be reviewing a bunch of Devil May Cry games. When that happens, I'm going to be reviewing the Devil May Cry anime here on Domination Inc. Also, I'm going to be doing one of these little discussions for every Marvel Cinematic Universe movie starting next year. Because if I do one every week, I'll be ready for Marvel's Avengers Infinity War. It's a lot of movies to go over. Eventually, I will also catch up with this and do a review on Man of Steel, Wonder Woman, Suicide Squad, and Batman v Superman. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.